Welcome to Intuitive Flow, hosted by me, Mikaela Filar, intuitive energy healer and mindset mentor. You've landed in the space you need to be to hear the no bullshit truth about how to actually manifest the life that you crave. This is the podcast that's here to shake you awake. It's time to unapologetically step into the woman you came here to be, the one who effortlessly attracts everything she desires. Let's flow. Hey guys, welcome back to Intuitive Flow. In today's episode, I want to share a story about how Bryson and I manifested the home, well, mostly me, but manifested the home that we are living in right now. Because when people talk about manifestation, they usually talk about like the big moment that like when it arrives. And they don't talk about the in-between. They don't talk about the phase where you're living in the reality that isn't quite it yet. And I believe I did a podcast episode about this specific moment where I was just feeling like I had totally outgrown my current reality. I will put that in the show notes for you below if you want to listen to that episode too. It's kind of like interesting, I'm sure, to listen to where I was versus where I am now. But the part of the process where manifestation is really built is in that in between, is in that place where you feel like giving up and you feel like maybe this is never going to happen for you, but then you keep working towards it anyways. Like that's where the universe tests you, God, source, whatever word best resonates with you, tests you to make sure that you really do want and are willing to put in the work to make whatever it is that you are manifesting happen for yourself. So I want to take you back. Bryson and I used to live, if you don't know this already, in the back house on his parents' property. And honestly, it was perfect for that season of life. We lived there for about a year and a half, and it allowed us to save a lot of money, not stress about bills, and really get our footing as a couple. So I'm really grateful for that time. And I'm also very grateful for the fact that I got to spend a lot of quality time with his family and his parents. I love his parents, I love his family, and it truly served its purpose, but the place itself was basically a loft. So maybe 800 square feet. There was no kitchen. We had the world's smallest closet, like laughably small. Everything was crammed. And Bryson had all of his clothes like under the bed in like these boxes. I had clothes in the main house. My office was also in the main house. Like everything was just kind of like in multiple places because the place itself was so teeny. And one of the main things I missed was cooking dinners. And I love cooking and creating that kind of like homey energy. And I just didn't have the space at all to do that because there was no freaking kitchen. And my office, like I said, was also in the main house, which worked, but sometimes it made work a little bit inconvenient because when you're running calls and hosting sessions and you need the house to be quiet, who am I to tell the people who literally own the house to be quiet during my Zoom calls? Please. I had to do this a few times, and every time I had to do it, I felt so awkward. And I could just like read their thoughts of like, who is she to tell us like, what do you mean? Like, this is literally our house. But also they understood, but like I could still like see it I could read it in their thoughts, in their mind, that like that's kind of what they were thinking in the back of their head. But anyways, I digress. There was just definitely moments where I was like, okay, I'm really, really ready to move. I'm ready for our own space. But the reason I'm sharing all of these details is because this is actually a huge part of the manifestation process, like I mentioned. A lot of people think manifestation is about just focusing on what you want, to envision what you want, to just focus on what you want and take the action necessary to get there. But the truth is that you also have to become neutral about where you're at currently in your physical reality. This is where the universal law of polarity comes in. Everything has two sides. Every situation has both a perceived positive and a perceived negative, because in source's eyes, there is no such thing as negative or positive. It's all neutral. It's everyone's own perception of what they think is positive and what they think is negative, right? So when we resist the negative side of things, we create emotional charge. And that emotional charge actually is what keeps us stuck because we're just so focused on like the negative, the lack, the scarcity, right? And we're not focused on the positive of where we're at, along with like the excitement of working towards something that we're looking to manifest into our physical reality. If you get stuck in that negativity, then you're just going to be stuck in this like festering, not good vibe situation that you don't want to be in. And the only way that you can get out of that is if you see the polarity in the situation that you're currently in. So if you are manifesting something or like something big in your life, like a better job or a raise or more money in your business or a house or just getting out of your parents' house or just moving apartments or something, whatever it is that's big, that's manifesting, maybe it's a baby, like whatever it is, if it's big and it changes your life and you know that you want it and it's going to quote unquote improve your life, you have to see how your life right now is actually perfect. We have to look at the situation, like whatever situation it is that you're in. And in this situation for me, what like the house that I was in and the living situation that I was in, I had to look at that and I had to say, yes, this is not my forever place, but I also can see the perfection in it, right? I can also see the perfection in it. So we're not dwelling on, oh God, like I can't believe this, I have to live here. Like I'm so disappointed in myself or like, some lame shit like that. Like it doesn't have a kitchen and I hate the closet. And don't get me wrong, there were definitely times where I was like, wanted to literally punch the wall because my dresser was like right up against, it was up against the wall. And then also in the corners where the closet was. So like in order to get to a certain spot in my clothing, I had to like go behind my dresser and squeeze and like I couldn't always reach back there. And it was just like super frustrating at times, especially if I was in my luteal phase and I just like wasn't having it. I literally could not deal with it. And I was just like caught myself being super negative. And in those moments where I would catch myself, and this is where the magic is too, in the moments where I would catch myself being super negative, I would be like, okay, what's the perfection in this? Like I would bring myself back to getting neutral. Okay, immediately, not like I need to sit down and make this big old thing, but just like immediately, okay, what's the perfection in my small closet? Well, I have gotten rid of a ton of clothes that I don't really need or don't really wear. I have minimalized, right? Which means that when we do move, I'm not going to have as much clothes to bring to the new house. Also, living in this space, like obviously Bryson and I are saving a lot of money. Like we are feeling really good, really grateful. We had to spend quality time with his parents, like so on and so forth, right? Like I was just immediately seeing the neutrality in like the situation of the house if I was like finding myself getting really negative or getting really frustrated. Now, here's the thing. The difference is this isn't like me trying to be positive Patty and bypass my emotions and pretend like it didn't still bother me. Like, no, like I still allowed myself to feel these feelings. And also I neutralized it in that moment as well. So I let the feelings pass. I would get frustrated and then I'd be like, okay, and how can I see the perfection in this? Right. So we're not spiritually bypassing our emotions because we do that. That's, not going to do us any good anyways. And so once those emotions pass through, then we bring in the universal law of polarity and find the neutrality in what it is that we are getting frustrated about in the current state and in the current moment. There we go. But when you can see the perfection in your current situation, that's when your nervous system relaxes. It's when your energy becomes neutral. And neutrality is the space where manifestation is actually happening. Because when you're neutral, you're no longer pushing against reality. And you're also no longer being a needy little bitch. Because neediness is also the opposite of magnetism. So if we are not seeing the perfection in where we're at currently, we're first of all, we're like pissed off, we're upset, we're negative, we're living in scarcity, we're feeling like we are lacking something, which obviously is low vibration. And we're also like, well, oh, when I have this, then I'm going to feel, right? X, insert feeling, then I'll be happy about, like, when we move into the new house, then I'm going to feel excited, or then I'm going to be happy, then I'm not going to be as stressed, or whatever the case may be, right? Like, and when we do that, we are, again, giving our power away to something external of us. And making something external of us means something about ourselves as well. And we don't ever want to be in that either, because that's, like I said, just going to push out your manifestation a lot further. Because in order for you to manifest a life that you are desiring to live, or manifest anything that you are desiring to have into your physical reality, you have to get super good with where you're at now. And you have to see where all of the feelings you think that having the thing that you are desiring to manifest is going to bring you, where do you have those feelings in your life already? So I was constantly asking myself, okay, how do I feel like having the house that I'm desiring to manifest for Bryson and I? Like, how do I feel like having it and being there and living there is going to make me feel? What feelings is it going to bring me? And I was immediately like, okay, well, it's going to bring me peace. It's going to bring me happiness. It's going to bring me spaciousness. Like, I'm going to, like, less stress about, having all of my things in different places. And so I was like, it's also going to bring me freedom. It's also going to bring me flexibility, because I can work at different times, because I'm not worried about, like, everyone else that's in the house, right? So I was figuring out at that point, though, where in my life I currently had all of those feelings. And then also, like, what's it going to take to get me to the place where I can actually have the house that I'm desiring to have? Because I live in California, right? So, like, what's it going to take for me to make in my business in order to sustain that type of lifestyle, right? Including everything else that I'm doing, business, car, that life, right? Groceries, eating organic, whole foods, my functional health nutritionist, like the gym, my Pilates classes, like all of the things. Like, what's it going to take for me to get there? And what do I have to do? Not just energetically, but also physically as well, because it takes 100% of the energetic and 100% of the physical action as well. So I was constantly asking myself that, and I was constantly doing the work, not like sitting down, but just like on a day-to-day basis, like, okay, where in my life do I have freedom? Okay, here, 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 and here. Like, I already have. What you focus on grows, the universal law of focus. So I was focusing on what are the feelings that having the thing is going to bring me. Where in my life do I already have those feelings? That's going to bring more of those feelings to me. Now, I have been doing this for the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So this is just kind of like a natural thing for me now, because I'm consistently being like, what are the feelings that I want more of in my life, and where do I have them in my life right now? And the more that I do that, the more that those feelings come to me. So ask yourself, like, what is it that having the manifestation that you're desiring to manifest, what's it going to make you feel? And then where in your life you currently have those feelings already, so that you can attract more of that feeling as a byproduct, as opposed to focusing on just the thing itself. Ask yourself, like, what are the feelings that it's going to bring you? Because the reality of the situation is that you don't actually want the thing that you're manifesting. You want the way that it's going to make you feel. So the more that you focus on what it's going to make you feel like, and then where in your life you currently have those feelings, and then you're focusing on those feelings and where you already have them, and what you focus on grows, and you're also in a abundance mindset as opposed to a lack mindset. So then you're going to, as a byproduct, manifest more of what brings you those feelings into your life. You see what I'm saying? These are simple manifestation techniques that you can be doing on a daily basis that, like, not everyone's talking about. I'm literally giving them to you for free on the podcast. Like, what? You're welcome. Start doing them and watch the magic fucking happen in your life. But when you are neutral, when you are using the universal law of focus, when you're using the universal laws in general, and when you are focusing on how you already have the feelings of having the thing in your life currently right now, you're no longer living in scarcity. You're just allowing the next thing to come in. So while we were living there in the back house on his parents' property, even though I had moments of being really over it, I also practiced a lot seeing the perfection in it. The fact that we could save money, the fact that we had support all around us, the fact that it was like a stepping stone to something so much bigger for us. And then here's the other thing is that I've been manifesting a house like the one that we are living in right now for years, like truly years. I remember I would have dreams of waking up. It was so vivid. Like I would have this dream and it would be the same dream on repeat. And it was just like, it was in 2023 that I started having this dream. And it's a fucking trip because I'm quite literally living it. And it was almost like my higher self's way of like telling me this is what your future is going to look like. Okay. And I would have this dream where I would wake up in my house and the house looks exactly the way that this house looks right now. And I would get up out of bed and I would look out my window and I would stare at the ocean, which I can do. It's not like this huge, beautiful ocean view, which it was in my dream. And I'm still chasing after that. Not chasing, but like I do know that it's going to, like I will be manifesting that in my future. However, I'm still so grateful for the fact that I can see the ocean from my bedroom window. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, I digress. So, and then I come downstairs and a part of it, second part of it. So I wake up I get out of bed. I go to our patio. I say call the balcony. And this is the dream. This was the dream. And I sit out on the balcony and Zeus is like underneath my table or my chair. And I do my energy work, my journaling, I read whatever I need to do. And then I come downstairs and my husband is like getting the kids ready for school and all of the things and packing the lunches. And then I'm like getting ready to go to Pilates or Legree, but like I take the kids to school. My husband goes off to work. I go to Legree. I come back. I have an office downstairs, which I have an office downstairs here. And then I, work and do what I love. I pick up the kids from school. And like, obviously this is, I don't have kids yet. Bryson and I aren't married yet, but we're getting like everything that was in the dream is like somewhat kind of a part of what I'm living right now, which is just like so crazy. But I would have that dream over and over and over again. And I just know that that dream is still going to happen. Like there are parts of that dream that haven't happened yet, but like I hold the knowing that that will be my reality. Like Bryson and I will own a home on like, maybe not on the beach, but like very close to the beach, like even closer than we are right now, because obviously we're very close still, but like even, I want to be even closer. I want to like, I have a neighborhood that I want to live in and it's like a whole thing. It's going to happen and I'm really excited about it, obviously, but also I'm very grateful for what I've created and what I've manifested so far in my reality. None of this would have been possible had it not been for these like little, and I shouldn't say little, but like for these tools that I'm literally giving you and for holding the knowing and for my inability to give up. Like I just never gave up, even though I really, really wanted to, because I still wake up and in the morning sometimes and I'm like, is this our house? Like, what the fuck? And then also, two people living in a 3-bedroom might sound kind of crazy to some people, but for me, it wasn't crazy. It was very intentional because I knew that I wanted space. I knew that I didn't want to move again for at least 2 or 3 years. And Bryson and I both know that we want to start a family. And I know and so when I thought about the house that we needed, I always pictured 3 bedrooms, our bedroom, an office, and a spare room for now. I remember, I literally remember this time last year, I was going on walks and seeing houses that looked like the ones that I would dream about, like living in. And I would have moments where I felt so defeated. Like, I remember crying on one of those walks. Like, what if it never happens? What if I never get here? And then I would catch myself and remember something really important. The reason that I desire something so deeply is because it was meant for you. And I'm not saying this in the way of like, the spiritual bullshit of like, if it's meant for you, it won't miss. Like, no, obviously I'm working towards it because desire isn't random. It's directional, and it's showing you what's possible for your life. So instead of letting that feeling of like, it's never going to happen for me defeat me, because, I am a human. So like I have these thoughts, or I have had these thoughts, and I still have thoughts like this where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're very far and few between nowadays, but they used to be so much worse. And like back in this time of me, not doing well, and like I'm not going to say not doing well, I was doing okay, but like not doing what I wanted to be doing in business, and just feeling defeated and feeling like I wanted to give up. And like I said, like that's when the magic happens. Like that's when you actually manifest what you're desiring to manifest. That's when source is like, let's see how bad you higher yourself is like, let's see how bad she fucking wants it. Like, is she going to keep pushing even though it seems like it's never going to happen? Like, what's she going to do next? How is she going to get there? Is she going to take the aligned action? Like, I promise you, if you fucking just keep going, it's going to happen. But it's not like, God, source, universe, they can't go against our fucking free will. So like they have their hands tied behind their back. And yes, it's that desire is placed on your heart for a reason. But if you're not taking the aligned action necessary to actually get there, then like they can't do anything to assist because you're not doing anything. It's quite literally in your hands. It's not in God's hands. It's not in source's hands. It's in your hands. You are the creator of your own reality, period, end of story. So I knew that if this was meant for me, my job was to keep moving towards it, which meant continuing to grow the business, continuing to make those aligned decisions, to continuing to continue to show up for the life that I wanted. But I also did something really interesting when we were still living in the back house. So when I started to feel like I had energetically outgrown that space, because I was just like, oh my gosh, my identity, it was like right, I don't remember exactly when this was, but anyways, I digress. I just felt like I was energetically my identity had completely outgrown like what our current situation was. And I didn't just like sit there and complain about it. I started to upgrade it. I spray painted all of the mirrors. They were red, and I spray painted them black. They were red because it's a barn. Like in the back house, it literally is a barn, and the bottom half is a gym, and the top half was the loft, and that was where we lived. And so it was like red, like everything in it was red. And I was like, I just can't do it. Like I need to upgrade it. Like I need to do something with this. And so I spray painted everything black. If you've been following me for a while, you probably remember those. I sprayed them black, like the frame of the mirrors. I bought new rugs. I replaced some of the like bathroom, like the soap and the lotion holder and like a little tray. And yeah, I don't know, like little things. I just like upgraded and bought things, but I had an intention behind these new things. And my intention here was I was buying those things for the house I knew we were going to live in. So I was acting as if, like not in a delusional way, but in a grounded way that said, like, I know that it is inevitable that we move into the house of my dreams. Like these things are coming with me to the next place. I also started actively looking. So I was on Zillow all of the time. I told every realtor that I knew that we were looking for a place. I started letting people know what we wanted, because manifestation isn't just energetic. Like I said, it's energetic plus the physical action. You align your energy and then you move in the direction of the reality that you are desiring, period. And eventually the house that we are now living in came into our awareness. And the moment, like, I'm not kidding you, the moment that I even saw, so like I said, I was like putting out the word to anyone who I knew that was like a realtor. I was like, oh, hey, we're looking for this. Let me know if you guys have anything or if you see anything. It would be incredible. And so I was just like talking and letting people know, like, oh yeah, Bryson and I are moving. We're going to get our own place, blah, blah, blah. And I mentioned this, one of my friends who's a realtor, she reached out to me and she was like, I remember, like, anyways, that's besides the point. I digress. We got into contact and I hadn't talked to her in a while. Like, I used to actually personal train her, which is so funny. And then she had commented, or I had commented on one of her stories randomly. And then I was like, oh, by the way, like, I know you're a realtor. Like, we're looking for this. If you see anything, let us know. And not kidding, a week later, maybe even like 3 days goes by. And she messages us and she's like, what about this one? And I'm like, oh my God, that's it. Like, this is so perfect. Like, I wasn't finding anything that was like that. And I was like, this is it. And then we literally so I got that text message from her and then I applied. And then the next day, Bryson and I met her to go look at it. And the moment I stepped foot inside, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, we're going to live here. I already knew. I just knew. I was like, this is where we're going to live. And then that night, Bryson applied. And then the following day, we literally got approved. Like, then that next week, we moved in. So everything happened really quickly. And I was just like so stoked, obviously. And it was like the manifestation had finally came into fruition. And I want to like touch on something else really quick before we wrap this up. But like a part of why I harp on seeing the perfection in where you're at right now and like seeing the, like whatever it is that you were kind of like nitpicking about whatever the situation. So like as an example, me nitpicking the fact that like we didn't have a kitchen, like me being in like the negative, right? Like being stuck in the negative of like not having a kitchen, having a small closet, not having enough space for all of our things, so on and so forth. Like if I was to stay in that, then what would have happened is I would have brought that negative energy into like our new place. And even though I had the kitchen, like I have the kitchen here, right? I have the great kitchen, but something would have gone wrong in another area of life or with the house in general. So I would have brought that negative energy into this situation that I'm currently in if I'm not able to neutralize. And the same goes for you. So it doesn't, because that's a reflection. If you're getting triggered, right? If you're getting triggered over a situation and you can't neutralize it and see the perfection in it, feel your feelings, but also see the perfection in it, then what you're going to do is like that doesn't just go away. Like you think that getting the new shiny thing is going to fix your problem, but it just slaps a Band-Aid over it for maybe 7 days, maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a fucking year, who knows? But eventually that reflection is going to find its way into either another area of life or it's going to come back bigger and louder and nothing is ever going to feel like it's enough. Okay. So you have to see the perfection in where you're at right now. Like it's so freaking important because you try and solve something with something external of you and you don't get to the root cause of why you're feeling that in the first place, you're not going to, it's not just going to disappear. Your problems fucking follow you. Trust me, I've tried to outrun them a lot. It never fucking works. So do yourself a favor and get to the root cause of your reflections, see the perfection in where you're at right now, get neutral, and then do not move until you're like, okay, like I could probably stay here for a little bit longer and then it's going to fucking happen overnight. And that's exactly what happened. Cause like I got to the point where I was like so over it. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? This is actually like fine. We could probably stay here until after the wedding. We could probably just stay till after the weddings. We finish paying the wedding off and then like, you know, not worry about it and then figure it out afterwards. And then that didn't work. It didn't happen, right? Like that didn't happen. That's not the way the cookie crumbled. So it's as soon as you get so neutral to the point where it's like, you don't even care if it happens or not anymore. Like that's when you know it's going to fucking happen. But the moment that I stepped into that house, it felt exactly like the vision that I had been holding for years. Like, here we are, 3 bedrooms, space to breathe, a kitchen where I can cook dinners for us, a backyard where Zeus can, hang out, an office where I can work without worrying about noise or telling people not to be loud, and a spare room that will one day hold a little human. And the biggest lesson in all of this is this: manifestation isn't about hating where you are until something better arrives. It's about honoring the role your current reality is playing in getting you there. Every step is a part of the bridge, and every season has its purpose. And sometimes the thing that helps you manifest the next chapter is simply learning how to appreciate the one that you're in. So I hope you liked today's episode. And as always, we will chat next week. Love ya. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. If this lit something up inside of you, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. We have new episodes coming out every week. If you love what you heard, drop a 5-star rating and review, or share it with a family member or friend so that this podcast can grow and help more women rise. For more on self-love, self-image, intuition, and manifestation, come hang out with me on Instagram or TikTok at Mikaela Filar. The links are all in the show notes below. And as always, we will chat soon.